I would be honored if you would follow my rules. Greetings and hello there, everyone. It's me, your ever-loving and beloved and happy to be here on Monday, Star Wars Dad Nooch Too Good, here to talk about our 6+1 rules for farming in Star Wars Galaxy Heroes. Now, we talk about farming a lot. You know, we say, do this, don't do this, go get these characters, don't get these characters, do these relics, get that, don't. We talk about it all the time in roster reviews and just generally speaking on the channel, but can we set aside like some specific rules, some specific ideas? And I think a lot of these ideas are going to be very familiar. We've got these 6 rules plus one new one. The new one will be, I think it might be surprising to some folks, but I think I've learned something over the last few months, and we're gonna get into that definitely. Let's start with rule number 1 for sure. I don't think this one will surprise anyone. Finish your farms. I see it all the time. You know, I'll see a roster that's at 3-4 million, and they have 8 teams that are farmed and like 1 relic per team at a bunch of gear 8s and gear 9s and gear 12s and stuff. Hey, finish your farms. It is the number one thing you got to do when you look at these teams and you've got them in here on the roster. Don't go get gas if you're not going to take the 501st relic levels. Don't go get CLS if you're not going to go work on that team. CLS is kind of a trade-off there, and I think this is kind of the idea of finish your farms does kind of evolve over time. That's not what I was looking to do, but that is true. Let's play it.
You must unlearn what you have learned.
All right, I'll give it a try.
No, try not.
Teams. Farming. Finished, they must be. That was on accident, but, you know, it's still interesting to take a look at. But, yeah, you know, you just have to finish your farms. When you go into a farm, if you're gonna farm CLS, work on a full team. And early on, that team may be CLS, Han Solo, Chewbacca, R2, and then an extra character or something. Eventually, you're gonna add Chupio in there, and you're gonna layer in 3PO eventually, too. Your Geonosians, don't start the Geonosians if you're not gonna get Geobrood Alpha. You know, don't get Wampa to 5 stars and not finish them. Don't go get Wampa and Savage Opress and not add an Omicron to them. Finish your farms. That's rule number 1. But what about rule number 1A? Rule number 1A, if you start it, you finish it. Now, this sounds the same. But it's a little bit different, and let me explain what I mean. So, you know, we talk about finishing your farms, but I see very, very often, you guys watch me see this, you guys watch me freak out when I see it, very, very often. You can see I'm pretty much ready for my Jedi Knight Revan farm, by the way. So I think I'll do that tonight on tonight's roster review stream. I see it all the time. People will go farm Jedi Knight Revan, or they'll go farm Darth Revan, where are we here? Sith Empire. And they'll just leave it at like gear 12, or not even gear 12, gear 8, gear 9. They won't bother to upgrade these teams, or they'll relic Jedi Knight Revan and leave Basilisk at gear 9 or Julie Bendo at gear 8. They'll relic Darth Revan and leave Basilisk Fallen at gear 8 and Sith Marauder or HK at gear 9. Guys, if you're gonna spend 3 to 6 months farming these teams are very, very much fit this. You have to go out of your way to farm a Jedi Knight Revan or Darth Revan team. You have to go farm these characters that don't really pop up into any other farms. It's very much its own farm on the side. If you're going to start it and you're going to continue it, take it all the way. Finish those teams up to relic levels. And by the way, since we're talking about it, where should we be taking those characters as far as relic levels? Relic 3 is really a minimum. I don't like when I just see Gear 13 characters, Relic 1 characters. Relic 3 is not that expensive. You can afford it. You can afford to go get a Relic 3 character. You should finish your farms to Relic 3 minimum. Now, I'm going to say again, because some of you are freaking out, this is progressive, right? When you first get to level 85, if you're free to play, or when you're hyperdrive, you're developing teams, you might only have 1 or 2 team characters on those teams that are Relic and the rest are Gear 12. You guys have watched me run my Imperial Trooper. Let's go take a look at that Imperial Trooper squad. You guys have watched me run this Imperial Trooper squad. with 3 Gear 12 and 2 Relic characters. I run this all the time and it runs great for me. So there are teams, there are ways you can manipulate and sacrifice and figure out where exactly, what does finish your farm mean for each individual teams. I'm just saying, if you're gonna start a team and take it to Relic, Relic 3 is really the minimum Relic level you should take your characters. So finish your farms. Let's go back and review that real quick. Finish your farms. If you're going to start it, make sure that you finish it. And specifically, that comes in with the Revens because those farms don't really fit anywhere else. And until Leviathan, yeah, but that's down the road for most of you guys. And then Relic 3 is a bare minimum for what you can do. What is rule number 2? Rule number 2, stay focused. There are shiny objects ahead. This is true for all of it. And you guys tell me all the time, man, I started on my CLS farm, but then, man, I got distracted by Padme, dude. And I went and farmed Padme, but I didn't finish Padme because I wanted to go back and do CLS. And then the Galactic Legend Leia came out, dude, and I wanted to go farm her, so I paid a bunch of money for Princess Nisa. Hey, man. There's always something new and something shiny in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, and it's what makes the game great. There are so many farms here. Let's jump over here and just take a look at the journey guide. If we go over to the journey guide, there are, let's count up the journeys. I haven't done this recently, and that's the wrong button once again. I always do that because I'm used to clicking on that ally button. But if you take a look at the journey guide, how many journeys are in this game? Well, there's 8 Galactic Legends right now, 10, 13, the 19, 22, 27, 32, 33. Talk about guild journeys. There's another 4. We'll kind of consider those. We'll call that, we'll say it's 35. We'll round it off at 35 journeys. It is easy to get distracted by new and shiny objects. Cal Kestis, new and shiny. Bam, new and shiny. Ray, old and kind of shine. The shine is off there a little bit. But anyway, Star Killer, granted, there's so many. And by the way, in 3 months from now, there'll be something new that's new and shiny. Right now, we got Leviathan and Galactic Legend Leia that are coming soon in the game. And these are new and shiny things. Don't get distracted. Finish your farms. There are always, stay focused, there are always shiny objects ahead or to your left or to your right. Always something new and shiny going on in Star Wars Galaxy Heroes, but stay on what you're doing and see it to completion. Finish that farm. Hey, in the shops, characters before gear. I think this is really important, and I've even seen, Arnold's talked about it, that in the guild event store, he has been spending all that currency on gear, and now he doesn't have malevolence, he doesn't have negotiator, he's behind, and again, somebody can tell me right now, no, he has malevolence now. Fine. You get what I'm saying. Let's go take a look at those shops right now. The guild event shop, guys. When you start getting guild 2 currency, when you get into a Geonosis Territory Battles guild that's getting you get 2 currency, get the malevolence or the negotiator first, depending on what your roster looks like. Usually it's malevolence first and negotiator second. Get those done first with this is get 2 currency right here. Mark II guild event token. Do the ships first before you do the gear. Make sure you have these. If you're into Mark III, you got to get the characters done first before you go start farming gear with that. And the Mark I currency, you've got to get Wampa done first. Hermit Yoda's got to be done. Malik, Gas, Imperial Pearl Dread. Even if you're not farming that's get 2 by the way, but even if you're not farming these characters, make sure you save up enough. I think it's like 70,000. It's been a minute since I looked, but it's like 70,000 to finish off Darth Malik, like 90,000 or 88,000 to get Hermit Yoda and Wampa. If you want to start farming gear and you know you got Malik in the future or Gas in the future or whatever, then save up the get 1 currency for them, have it sitting there in excess, and then go get the gear. But man, the characters are more important here. Where else are the characters more important? Guild Activity Shop. You want to make sure you get these characters up before you start farming the gear in here as well with your Mark I currency. And Mark II currency as well. You can see here, I'm farming Rolo right now with my Mark II currency. I'm not farming any gear in here until I get Rolo because I'm on my way to Jabba with this account. You also look at, not the Squadron Arena Galactic War, that's pretty much just characters in there. Oh, Fleet Arena. Hey man, you're going to get General Grievous shards in here. General Grievous is going to be available in the Fleet Arena store. Darth Vader will also be in here when you're early in the game. The Razor Crest will be up here. You need to be farming those. Every time you see Razor Crest and General Grievous and Darth Vader early, you need to farm those until they're complete. So you need to make sure you have 1,200, 1,600. Do as I say, not as I do. Make sure you have the fleet currency available to farm Grievous and Razor Crest every time they pop up early before you move on. And I'm also farming early in the game. You want to farm Sunfac shards in here. You want to farm Sunfac with Sunfac ship. I'm talking about Sunfac ship in the Fleet Arena store and Guild Event store. You know, before you get up there. And yeah, I think that covers our characters before gear discussion there. But yes, make sure you're farming. That's a stay focused tip in the shops. Make sure you're farming characters and ships before you farm the gear in there. Long term, it's really going to pay off. Short term, it'll feel good, but man, it's going to really punish you down the road. Rule number 4, always have a side farm. By the way, guys, do the liking and subscribing per yellow pointing nooch here. It helps the channel, it helps you, it helps your family. It makes Star Wars Galaxy Heroes a better game when you like the video, subscribe to the channel, get more of this awesome content in your feed. Hey, always have a side farm. You have to be farming something on the side, in the background, getting ready for that next farm. You can't just be farming what you're farming. Right now, so I am kind of in a holding pattern here. I've kind of put myself in a holding pattern while I wait for Galactic Legend Leia. But I'm farming Jabba, really, when it comes down to it. I'm farming Rebel Officer Leia Organa to get to Jedi Knight Luke. I have farmed my Captain Han Solo shards is done. I've been farming Fennec Shand here in the ships. I'm kind of farming my Hyena Bomber in the background a little bit for my Malevolence. My Malevolence right now, if you look at my Separatist ships, where are we? It's kind of a background, kind of not. I've got my Malevolence activated. It'll be a couple, 2 or 3, 4 months before I get to 7 stars. In the meantime, I'm farming my Hyena Bomber. I guess that's not really a background or a side farm per se. My side farm here, is Jedi Knight Revan. So I had to think about it for a second. So I've been farming for Jabba, up to get him up and running here in the meantime. You saw a few days ago, I took Savage Opress and Enfys Nest to Relic levels, Relic 5, so I can use them in Grand Arena coming up. But my side farm has been my Old Republic. I've kind of been farming all of these character shards along the way, just side farming them. It's not a primary, but as I farm toward Jabba, as I do my other teams, I farm these character shards every day to make sure I get them. And look where I am right now. I'm at a point where I'm going to unlock Jedi Knight Revan tonight on stream. And these side farms are really important. You got to have in mind what you're doing next. Now, if you're right in the middle of a big giant farm where you can't afford any other farms, fine. But what I'm talking about here is while you're farming Jabba, what's your next farm? And if you're getting close, you got to think about, what's my next farm going to be? I need to start farming the character shard. Let's say I'm going to go after Supreme Leader Kylo Ren next. I'm getting close to Jabba. I'm maybe 3 months away from Jabba. Well, I've got some character shards. I've got all my characters for Jabba at 7 stars. What I'm mainly talking about here is character shards. I've got all my characters for Jabba at 7 stars. When I get there, you got to start thinking about what your next farm is going to be. If it's going to be Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, well, I better start farming First Order TIE Pilot, First Order Stormtrooper, First Order Executioner, Sith Trooper, Hux. I better start, and Veteran Smuggler Han for that point. I better start farming these character shards in the background so that when I get done with my Jabba farm, I'm ready to jump right into that. And for me, that included the Old Republic here, that as I'm farming other stuff in the game, as I farm my Executor, I was farming these guys in the background. As I started farming up toward Jedi Knight Luke for Jabba, I kept farming these guys in the background. As I Relic Savage and Wampa and Enfys Nest, I would continue to farm these guys in the background, and now I'm there, and boom, I have another journey to unlock along the way as I'm doing other stuff. So always, always, always have a side farm. Make sure you've got that going on your roster at all times. What is rule number 5? Let's take a look. Get in a good guild. Now, you don't think this is farming advice, but it is. And I'm not going to say a ton about this because I've said enough. I will definitely put at the end of this video a link to my how to find a guild video. I've got multiple. I've got what guilds are looking for, how to find a good guild. Those are videos you can find on the channel. But look. You need to be in a guild that's doing raids, and I'm in the Crate Dragon raid, but even if I'm not in the Crate Dragon, I don't think I can look at this, can I? Yeah, I can't look at it. So you need to be in a guild that's doing at least the Heroic Sith raid. And if you are watching my free-to-play Jabba farm, that's a new account, and I got into a guild that is doing tier 6 of the Heroic Sith raid, and I'm getting lots of currency out of that. And they're doing Hoth territory battles, I'm getting currency out of that. you can punch up with your guild. You can find a better guild than you think you can find. And let me jump over to here right now. So when you look in guilds, I just don't think that guild search is a great way to find a guild. This is not a great way to find a guild. You know, you can do it and you can find a guild and you can hang out in there. But there are guilds that you can punch up to. You should always get one that's 40.50, by the way, and you should take a look at what they're doing. Like these guys are doing Geonosis territory battles and getting stars in there. You can find a guild this way. If you want to find the perfect guild for you, and these look like they're open to join, so maybe not a bad way to do it early on. You can get into a guild that's doing Geonosis territory. But look at this. These guys are all open to join. You can get into a guild that's doing Geonosis territory battles right off the bat, and maybe they'll boot you, but go find another one. If you look around enough, I'm telling you, guilds that are in this range, 100 million, 150 million, they are struggling. People keep leaving them to go other places. They need people that are going to get 600 tickets a day. If you get into a guild like this and establish that you're going to get your 600 tickets every single day, you can find a home where you can do a lot of good things in the guild, punch up with the guild, and do some great things. So, get into a good guild. That's really, really important. And where was I here? There I was, right there. Make sure you're in a good guild. It's really, really important. And advance your guild as you move forward. You can grow with that. If that guild is growing at your pace, stay with it. Otherwise, you may need to find a new guild down the road. Rule number 6: hoard gear and Zetas for the big farms. I talk about this a lot. If you're gonna go into a farm and you're gonna unlock a galactic legend, if you're gonna take the time to unlock a galactic legend, you don't want to get to Supreme Leader Kylo Ren and have only 1 or 2 Zetas available, and you've got some gear, but maybe not all of it. Hey man, you're farming tickets. Save up the gear. Get this guy Relic. I did it free to play. I have done it free to play on both Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. I've done it on Sith Eternal. I've done it on other farms as well. When you get to that farm, you need to have as much as possible, have all the Zetas saved. For a Galactic Legend, it's 6 Zetas for every Galactic Legend. For a character like Gas, it's going to be 4 Zetas. And you want as much gear saved as possible for these farms. And you want to get them relicked ASAP and get them working, get them humming right away. Hoard the gear and hoard the Zetas. After you get the requirements done, you can farm characters on the side for your next farm, but hoard the gear and the Zetas for these guys to make sure you max them out as soon as possible after you unlock them. That's really, really, really important. I can't emphasize it enough. And I keep losing my place here. What am I doing on this video? I think I'm right here. Yes. I know, there you go. So hoard, I'm sorry about that. It's a little inside baseball. Hoard gear and Zetas. Now, I have a new rule, and I have not been doing this. And I think it was a mistake. In fact, it was a mistake. It was a mistake. And here's that rule. Rule number 7. This is the new rule you've been waiting for. Hoard crystals and prestige for your big ship farms. I now believe 100%, and I'm going to do this in retrospect now, that when you unlock a big capital ship, you need to get it to 7 stars ASAP. So you need to put everything on hold for a month and a half, 2 months, and it's going to suck. But you need these things at 7 stars immediately, as fast as possible. I think you can only do, I don't know, 14, 19 refreshes. So, you know, it costs you 1,000 to refresh these when the Discarded Doctrine event is out there, and I can farm the Executor on the 15th of the month. I think I can refresh it. It was 15 or 19 times. I'm not sure. You need to save those crystals, as many as possible. Free to play, pay to play, whatever. Get it to 7 stars ASAP. The first time through, refresh as many times as possible, and then just hoard your crystals and hoard your prestige. Make sure that you can farm this thing to maximum. Make sure you can farm it to the maximum as soon as possible. It will not be round 1, but we can hope that it's round 2. And let me go I'm going to go a little bit more into this. Let's go take a look at my ships. I have had, on my Nooch 2 Hyper account, I unlocked Executor in March. in March. And I'm still sitting there today with the Executor at 5 stars. I've only done 1 refresh every time, and it's been a mistake. It's been a mistake. In March, what I should have done is I should have saved enough crystals and spent all my crystals, as many crystals as I could, to get this to 7 stars. Or to get it to 6 stars, or do as many refreshes as possible. And then I should have just hoarded crystals for the entire next month. And then in April, boom, pop it to 7 stars. Maybe May at 7 stars at the latest. It has really... I am getting punished now in Fleet Arena, and it's not even performing as well in Grand Arena for me either. So what I'm doing right now on both of my accounts, because I have a 6-star Executor, which is also a mistake. I have a 6-star Executor on the Star Wars Dad account. I have a 5-star Executor here. I am hoarding crystals and prestige on both accounts. By the way, you need about 1,000 prestige to spend on all these abilities down here once you get them leveled up. And for me, the main ability is usually the last one I do. It doesn't offer as much benefit as the other abilities here. It was a mistake. It was a mistake. I should have just saved up. So I am not doing refreshes right now on regular energy, ship energy, cantina energy, mod energy. I'm going to take a month off of all of that so I can save all the crystals I can and try to get these things to 7 stars in August when the Executor event comes. I'm going to make this a rule now. The new rule, everybody, the new rule is that is the wrong button. I'm telling you, I'm losing my place in here. That's the wrong button too. These are old videos. Sorry about that. Hoard Prestige and crystals. Hoard your prestige and crystals for the big ship's arms. You're gonna buy prestige in the Squad Arena shop, and I guess I'll show that to you here. If I can not lose my place this time, that'd be nice. You're gonna be buying prestige here in the Squad Arena shop. It costs 600 for 10. You're also gonna get it. If you can do the monthly ship event that comes out, you can get it from there too. Actually, you get this from your. Let me take a look here and make sure. I don't wanna say this without verifying it for sure. I already did these fleet challenges, but if you look at these, yeah, you're getting it here in these shipability materials challenges too. Hoard crystals. Hoard your prestige currency. You need about 1,000. You're gonna get it from the Squad Arena store. You need to hoard it up so that when you unlock those big capital ships, the Executor, the Profundity, the Leviathan, you get it to 7 stars within a couple of months. And I'm gonna stick by that. I can't figure this out. It's my new rule. It's the new rule here. Hoard crystals and prestige for big ship farms. I made a mistake by not doing it for the Executor, and it was my fault, and I take accountability for that. So there's your 6 rules. Let's go through those one more time, real clean. Finish your farms is going to be different for everywhere along the way. Finish farms is different for somebody at 1 million galactic power versus somebody at 3 million versus somebody at 5 million. Finish your farms. If you start it, you finish it, especially for those Jedi Knight Revan, Darth Revan. People all the time unlock those guys and leave them too low, leave the teams too low. Relic 3 minimum. I don't like teams under Relic 3. It just doesn't make any sense. If you're going to use Datacrons, Relic 5 is a minimum for those. That's what I'm working on my roster as well. Stay focused. There's always shiny new objects ahead out there for you in the shops, in the guild shop, specifically in the Fleet Arena store with Razor Crest and Grievous and Darth Vader early. Characters before gear. Get those characters done before you start farming gear. Always have a side farm. Be farming character shards for whatever's coming up next on your. Once you finish the character shards for your current farm, you're going to switch to gear. Always start farming character shards for that next farm in the line. What is next here? Get in a good guild. Farm the Geos, guys. Get into a Geonosis territory battle guild so that you can be getting the best currency available for an early game player. Make sure you're farming Geos early. Hoards gear and Zetas for the big farms, gas, Galactic Legends, Jedi Knight Revan, whatever. Hoard as much as possible gear and Zetas for them as you can. And finally, my new rule is hoard your crystals and your prestige for when you get those big capital ships on Executor, Profundity, Leviathan. You can even apply this to Negotiator and Malevolence as well. Hoard not the crystals, but the prestige. Hoard it up so that when you get to these farms, you can get them to 7 stars as fast as possible. That is what we have got, everybody. I appreciate each and every single one of you. I hope you have a great day. I'll talk to you soon. And always, of course, remember, what is my problem today? What is my problem today? Where is this button? Newt's too good. For the love of God.